potential, total enlightenment. Rising to his feet and discovering that he had indeed become an awakened one or a Buddha, he realized that although it would be near impossible to communicate this experience to others, out of compassion for the world, he would try. The next part of this story is hardly ever brought up in books and discussions. The moment in time when Buddha preached his very first sermon is historically called the first turning of the wheel of Dharma. Spoken more than 500 years before the birth of Jesus, Buddha's first message was about suffering, the way to the end of suffering, loving kindness, compassion, and nonviolence. Scholars tell us that this message not only influenced millions of great souls like Mahatma Gandhi, but its overall impact on the thought life of mankind is immeasurable. But a good reporter always asks three questions: who, when, where? Buddha walked more than 200 miles from that Bodhi tree to Varanasi to share this message with only 5 men. These 5 ascetics and himself had been homeless meditation practitioners. After seeing him eat with Sujata, thinking that he had abandoned the spiritual quest, they deserted him. This is the where and the who he delivered that first sermon to. Now is the why. Why did Buddha walk 200 miles to deliver the first thing that he ever said to anyone after his enlightenment? Why did he walk 200 miles to deliver this message to only 5 homeless men? I think the answer is because Buddha knew that he would find them literally starving, absolutely hungry for the truth that he found. Although Buddhism does not seek to change another's religion and does not seek out converts, to say that it is not a missionary religion is false. Buddha admonished all of us out of compassion for the world to spread his teachings. In fact, there has probably never been someone as missionary-minded as the Buddha himself. He spent 45 years in almost constant travel, delivering his truth to kings, beggars, untouchables, women, outcasts, children, hayseed farmers, as well as city dwellers. And he said that he did it all with an open hand to every sentient being. With HMP groups, we try to bring Buddhist studies, mala beads, literature, meditation instruction, and create a temporary Sangha home for our friends in the homeless community. We also network with local temples and meditation centers, and we invite them to come down and observe one of our groups. They may slowly want to start getting involved or take one of our friends to some Buddhist event. But in saying all that, let me be clear. If you come to an HMP group, there's absolutely no pressure to do anything. We're not trying to sell anything. I get emails all the time from people that feel bad because they just can't come down to the center. And I also get emails from people that have come down, but they've never come back. I realize this is not for everyone. Sometimes during group, we start off with a Buddhist topic, and then it turns into a big conversation about everything. We probably don't even meditate as much as we should. But I think that's the purpose. Just to engage, interact, live, learn, communicate, and just be with each other. That's what I get out of it. When I'm leading the group, the important thing for me to do is shut up and let whatever message we are supposed to hear arise spontaneously from the group. The lesson that I get over and over down at the shelter is, if you come with agendas and ego-based motives, everything will fail miserably. The people that I've met on the street have a very low tolerance for bullshit, and they have developed a radar for it. They can tell in the simple way that you hand them a sandwich whether you're full of shit or not. So another great thing about this group is the unique opportunity to be truly genuine. Since you are totally exposed anyway, you have an actual chance to be real, maybe for the first time ever. It was a milestone for me when asked a question in group to actually hear myself say, I don't know, what do y'all think? And to my surprise, to find myself leaning forward, eagerly awaiting to hear the answer. How fabulous it is to not know anything anymore. I've made a lot of mistakes trying to get the Buddhist community behind HMP Street Dharma. I've sent nasty emails, wrote crazy blogs, and made unnecessary phone calls to local and national Buddhist groups. For a Buddhist, I'm a little high-strung and passionate. You might not believe this, but I really thought people would be lined up around the block to bring Buddhist teachings and meditation to the homeless. To my great surprise, not many people seem interested. I'm slowly beginning to realize, though, that folks are pretty busy pursuing other activities, such as work, life, kids, grandkids, elderly parents, as well as their own noble causes. And as I said before, this thing isn't probably for everyone. It has literally taken me years to feel somewhat comfortable in this environment. HMP started out in a homeless facility, and then we took it to the street, and now we're back in a homeless facility, and now we're thinking about taking it back to the street. I've gone through so many phases in my journey. I used to think, I'm going down there to teach them homeless people something. And then I thought, I'm going down there because those homeless people got something to teach me. And then I went to, I'm just going down there to do my own meditation. If somebody shows up, fine. To where I am now, which is, crap, I don't want to drive down there again tonight. And then after group thinking, damn, I'm glad I came. To put it in Christian terms, I guess you're either called for this thing or you're not. We have had Vietnamese Buddhist nuns come and do the whole service in Vietnamese. She sang a lot. We didn't know what she was saying, but it was beautiful. A woman ordained in the Thich Nhat Hanh lineage of Zen Buddhism came in and she led a couple of services. We got this gentleman from the Shambhala Center that comes in and he wants to start teaching more often. We were preparing for a retired Catholic monk that used to teach English in Mexico to come in and tell us all about contemplative prayer. Sometimes we will have the members lead the group themselves. Sometimes the group takes a life of its own and everybody shares. Being one of the few spiritual services on campus that is not Christian-based, HMP attracts all shapes and sizes. We get the Wittokins, the pagans, the New Agers, the agnostics, the atheists, and for a while we had a full-blown Satanist in our group. But we even encourage our Christian brothers and sisters to come in and tell us something that God has put on their heart or to show us something in the Scriptures. I love this type of dynamic. When I see folks openly talking about their faith, it lets me know that we somehow have succeeded in creating a place where they feel safe. Faith is so precious, personal, and delicate. For folks to be able to speak openly about theirs, it is so beautiful. I want you to think about this seriously. How often are you asked about your beliefs? It hardly ever happens, and even when it does, it's usually just a setup for someone to tell you why all the things you just said are wrong, and then to set you straight. Now, try to imagine the beauty of what's happening in these groups. We are involved with folks that have been living invisibly in society for years. And when they have been seen, they have been ignored, pushed aside, stepped over, looked down, pushed down, beat up, and given a handout like a stray dog. Very rarely, and for some it's been years, since someone actually looked at them in the eyes and said, I don't know, what do you think? When a person comes to a group once and then you see them again and you call them by their first name and you greet them like an old friend, you can actually see their whole being light up. The only rule for group is if you want people to respect your beliefs, you have to give them the same respect. Everybody's view counts and everybody's contribution is important. If somebody starts advocating one viewpoint over another,